This is the Brown Boy Wonders podcast.
Welcome to the spooky edition of the Brown Boy Wonders podcast. Right now, you should hear the Wilhelm scream. Now. Since it's a spooky season, October, my guest and I are gonna review. You should know by this now. Saw 2. Since we're doing a rewatchable on the Saw movies, we're gonna do Saw 2. But first, let me introduce my guest, Skyler. How you doing, man?
If you forget to edit in those Wilhelm screams, it's gonna be so funny.
No, I remember. I'll remember to do it. But I do have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
We're doing Saw 2, and I have to ask you this one question. You want to play a game?
Dun 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 dun. Hello, Zep. We learned that last week that the song is called Hello, Zep.
It is called Hello Zep. A great song, great people. But I do have another real question for you. Would you rather commit a crime in front of Batman or Jigsaw?
Batman.
Why?
Batman. Well, okay. Here's. So let's say that I go into a Taco Bell, right? And
Yeah.
I ask for a water cup, and then they give me a free water cup, and then I go fill it with Baja Blast. All right.
Right.
Now, Batman sees me do this,
Yeah.
and then he wrestles me to the ground and punches all my teeth out, and takes me to jail. Right.
Yeah.
Now, Jigsaw sees me do this, and I'm cutting off body parts or stabbing stuff in my eyes or putting fire ants in my ears. I'm not Batman. All right.
Yeah.
Batman can beat the piss out of me all day long before I would like to be in a saw trap. That's Batman, please.
Batman, I'd rather get punched in the face instead of chopping my leg off. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Anyways, we're here talking about Saw 2. Saw 2 came out 2005. I was 10. You were 10 also, I believe.
Yep, we are the
Yep.
same age.
Yes, I forgot. I always forget. The cast for Saw 2. We did mention if you guys watched the first one, you should know the cast by now. But we do have new members in the Saw cast. We have our very own. No, not very own. I hope so. Maybe no. Donnie Wahlberg.
You think he listens, Donnie? Donnie, you out there?
I think Donnie listens. Donnie, if you're listening, say hi.
Last week I said he was going to be here, and he's not, and it's a little disappointing to me because Abrar did lead me to believe that Donnie would be here.
Yeah,
and he's not here. But Donnie, if you're out there, I love you. I love your burgers.
burgers. But he's playing as Eric Matthews, not the same character.
Not from Boy Meets World.
No, not Boy Meets World, but his name is Eric Matthews.
I think that every time.
He has a little son here. Well, not little, but he's a teenager. His name is Eric. That's the actor's name, Eric Knudsen, I think. As Daniel.
We're gonna get to the point where a lot of these cast members aren't gonna be worth shouting out.
Yeah,
I mean, no disrespect to them, but a lot of these people are in like not much. Like they're in this, and that's what we know them from. But
that's what I'm doing. For those are the main part of the story, or like main act or famous actor, I'll just shout them out.
I will say though, Eric Knudsen, who plays Daniel in this, he's in Scream 4.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the kid with the like live stream headset on the whole time.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and he's friends with in that movie. He's friends with the Culkin brother, but not Macaulay and not Kieran. There's a third Culkin. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Well, he's in Scream 4.
I gotta watch that. But we're here to talk about Saw 2. What's your what do you think? What was the budget for this film?
Well, the Law of Hollywood, since last time we said it was like 1.2 million, right?
Yeah.
Law of Hollywood is sequel gets more.
Yeah.
And just looking at this movie, you can see that it has more because we have more background actors. We've got people just in SWAT stuff. We've got the sets are still kind of on the cheaper side.
Kind of
So,
same. Yeah.
I'm gonna say around 5 million.
5 million. You're kind of close. You're actually close. It was 4 million.
Ah, see, look at that.
So they did raise up the price there. And what do you think about the box office?
Ooh, that one I genuinely don't know. So last one was 100 million. This one's got to be higher because this Saw trend went a good while. So 200 million?
A little high. It was 152 million.9.
Okay, so an extra 50 million. That's still a great cash rake in for this. So you put in 4 million, you get in 159. A lot of the kind of rule that they say for like Hollywood budgets is whatever the budget says, you kind of double that to account for marketing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Saw did a lot of marketing. Like that's a big part of it is like every year, just like, oh, Halloween time, come out and watch Saw. So if you
It's
kind
a
of account that
yeah.
they did like another 4 million for like all the billboards and commercials and stuff, but that's still a good chunk of cash for the studio, raking it in for basically doing nothing.
Exactly. I just want to say about the companies that made this, Lionsgate and Twisted Pictures.
Yeah, that's Twisted Metal.
Not Twisted Metal. Twisted Me- Twisted Pictures.
Yeah.
Uh, I only know Twisted Pictures because of Saw. They're the only company that only makes Saw movies. They don't make any other movies that I know of.
I mean, I can't think off the top of my head anything. Let's. Oh, they made Dead Silence.
Okay,
That's
that was a
another.
great film.
That's another James Wan movie.
Shout out to James Wan. But James Wan did not
It
directed this film.
No, he did not. But I think in Dead Silence, if I'm remembering correctly, because it's all about puppets. That movie.
Yeah.
There's a room with a bunch of puppets, and I think you can see Billy in that room.
Yes, sir. It was towards the end.
Yeah, it's
But
a
yeah,
bit
you
towards
do
the
see
end.
him.
Ooh, and Donnie Wahlberg is also in Dead Silence. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
sir.
Donnie, call me.
Donnie Wahlberg was not an Aquaman, but an Aquaman, Annabelle was in the ocean.
I think I think I think Donnie stopped acting.
Oh, did he? Wasn't he in that show, Blue Shield? Blue Blood?
Um he was in Band of Brothers. I
Oh,
know that
okay.
because I'm on his Wikipedia page. Yes, he was in Blue Bloods.
Okay, okay.
Oh, I
Um,
lied. Oh wait, no. I think he stopped acting.
oh,
His
I
his
probably eating those burgers.
his last movie. You'll never guess what his last movie is.
Aquaman 2.
I wish. His last movie is Zookeeper with Kevin James.
Oh, shout out to Kevin James. He's a very memeable guy for some reason. King of
I,
Queens set.
Yeah, right now it's all about Kevin James, King of Queens memes.
I don't know who started that, but they're a genius.
Uh, I don't know,
But
but
yeah,
Donnie,
Donnie. Would you rather have Mark Wahlberg or Donnie Wahlberg in this film or in this series?
Donnie.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like I like Donnie. Donnie needs more stuff going on.
yeah. So this was not directed by James Wan. It was directed by Darren Balsman, who also created Spiral. So he has that little inch. When we watch Spiral, we'll have that. We'll know that he's still into the Saw movies. But that's the only two films he made or directed.
That's not true. He directed Saw 3.
Did he? Oh, I didn't miss that. I apologize to people.
And he also directed Saw 4.
Oh, really? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'll tell you this. I did not rewatch Saw 3 or 4, so I apologize.
Yeah, that's all right.
Uh,
Yeah, so he did 2, 3, 4, and then Spiral.
interesting.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
looking
so
at the list of all the other movies he's done, and it's mostly all horror. It looks like not a lot of stuff that I have seen.
yeah. But let's get into the right and gritty. Not the gritty dance, but let's get
Oh, you know, uh, gonna cross over into the conversation of wrestling really quick.
sure.
But as we're recording this, AEW Wrestle Dream, the pay per view, just happened the other day, and Swerve Strickland hit the gritty in the ring.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. It was awesome.
Shout out to Swerve. Whose house?
Swerve's house. Shout out to Prince Nana.
Oh, I love his dance. All right, let's get back to Saul.
Yeah.
uh,
How niche can we make this podcast? We talk about Saw, which people already don't like a lot, and then now we throw in pro wrestling. Everyone's already turned off. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's okay. Let's get them back in because let's talk about the story.
Hell yeah.
Uh, uh, first, I just want to say that this movie was like a school group project where like no one listens to each other.
Yeah, yes.
Um,
This is what happens when the teacher randomly assigns groups together.
yeah, that's what it is. It never turns out well because what happens. But let's since we're talking about it, if you have not watched freaking Saw 2, pause this episode, go to Hulu, Peacock, watch it right now.
Go
If
to
you don't
Best
have,
Buy.
or go to Best Buy.
Go to Best Buy. Buy the box set Blu-ray. You don't have to do 4K. It's fine. Although some of the blood and gore effects in later movies in 4K, that shit might be crazy.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah. Um
go watch it. Come back here, and now let's do it. So yeah, so what do you thought about the movie, man?
So first I'll kind of say that excluding Saw 1, which is its own thing, it's the one out of this whole series that kind of stands out from the rest. Um as far as like its narrative. The rest of these movies all kind of break down into one or two things. Now there's two plots in each one. There's whatever the cops are doing. I guess there's three plots. There's whatever the cops are
Yeah,
doing. There's the John Kramer flashbacks that we like learn more about John and stuff or whatever. Whatever. So there's whatever the cops are doing, whatever John is doing or was doing, and then there's the main trap. And the main trap going forward for basically the rest of the original run of this series, like 2 through 7, it's broken down into two different kinds. There's um one person going room to room into different traps, and like there's people in those traps. And then the second kind is there's a bunch of people that have to go room to room together, and they all
yeah,
just kind of slowly die. This is that kind.
yeah. It's like an escape room, but
But you fucking die.
yeah. Uh, let's uh, let's get into the traps. The first trap, it was not really a trap. This guy got blown in the head with a pistol through the door.
I know that I just rewatched this movie. Does this movie not start with like just a cold open trap? Because a lot of them do.
You are right. I apologize. I'm off the rails.
You are off the rails. What's going on? I'm taking over.
No, hold on. Well,
This is
we
about
did.
this is about to become the White Boys Pundit podcast.
Let's not go there. But the
Let's not
first,
go there. I don't think the world needs any more of that.
no, because we started with the death mask trap.
Oh, yes, the nails in the mask that. Oh, yeah. He has the key in his eye.
Yeah,
Yeah. See, now we're on the same page.
we're not really.
Yeah, there's not a lot to that one. I
Not
mean,
really.
it's like a little Iron Maiden. It's the same basic principle of the reverse bear trap.
Yeah,
Like even in Saw 1, John says, "Think of it as a reverse bear trap." And in this one, he tries to do it again. Like I don't know if they tried to make it a thing and it just wasn't as popular, but he was like, "Think of it as a Venus fly trap." Just whatever. Yeah, it's just a little Iron Maiden, and you got to get it off with a key, and the key's in his eye, and there's a bunch of like really gnarly shots of him like putting a X-Acto knife like really close to his eye, but he never
Yeah.
actually does it, and then it closes on his head, and that's the end. So
Yeah.
the trap itself isn't anything to write home about, really.
Yeah.
But the shots, I mean, I'm not alone in saying this. Anything with a knife held really close to a fucking eyeball, it's gonna freak you out. And it's every time he does it, it's like, okay, he didn't do it. Oh, no, he didn't do it, and then he doesn't do it. So
Yeah,
that's how we
it's
start the movie.
I mean, it's not a great trap, but you don't want to be in that trap.
Absolutely not. No, because well, we talked about this in the last episode where you can't help but kind of like put yourself in that situation of okay, what if I was in that trap, and then you feel that pain kind of thing. Um, I was thinking when watching it, I was like, yeah, I couldn't do my eye either. So you're just waiting 60 seconds for nails to get shoved in your face and die.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, I can put like contact lens in my eyeballs. How can I to
I
get yeah, how can I
I am
keep
I'm also one of those very weak people that can't do contact lenses.
yeah, I
So
can't
yeah, I'm right there with you, buddy.
yeah, I don't think I can do that either. But yeah, shout out to that guy. He didn't make it. I wish the best for him.
Yeah, we don't even know his name, but shout out.
I do have his name. His name is Michael Marks.
Michael Marks.
Shout out to Michael.
All right.
The next trap, is that really a trap? It was more like it's a trap, but it's
It's
not.
not really a trap, but it's like a different kind of trap.
Yeah, it's
It's
where
the
the cop,
stairs.
yeah, the cops, they trying to come upstairs, but they got electrified. Uh, Nothing really going on there.
Well, there is something going on there more than just getting electrified. Is that one cop falls through the stairs and gets his goddamn shins broken in half,
Yeah,
and then he tumbles backwards onto the other guys, who then get electrified by the fence. I guess we're left to assume that the cops that were electrified died.
yeah, I think so.
Um,
Never went back to them, so I think they either passed out or died.
yeah, but the guy with the broken legs, they did drag him out while he was like screaming. He's got broken legs all, and they just drag him out the room slowly. So props to that guy. He technically survived a saw trap.
He did.
That sucks.
uh, and now
But then,
we're yeah. Go ahead.
but yeah. So the way this movie really kicks off, and why those cops got fucked up in the first place is, long story short, the cops found Jigsaw. They found John,
Yes.
and our lead detective, played by Donnie Wahlberg, he's leading the charge. There's actually 3 police officers in this movie that matter.
Yeah.
Donnie Wahlberg, who plays Eric Matthews, as we said. Dina Mayer, who plays whatever her character's name was,
She
Carrie,
yeah, Carrie.
and then Detective Rigg, played by Lyric Bent, is the actor's name apparently,
Oh.
and that's a cool name, Lyric. Anyways, yeah. So they're the 3 cops that kind of matter and then recur throughout the next couple movies. But they find Jigsaw. They kind of arrest Jigsaw. At this point, John's just an old man in a wheelchair who's dying, and
He 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 was just chilling. He's like, "You found
he
me."
was he was just hanging out, drinking his chocolate milk, and they're about to like yank his ass out of that chair and say you're going to jail when he says, actually, detective, I got a trap going and I put your son in the trap. Gotcha.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah,
And then we get to our house of traps with the people in it.
House of Horrors, I'll say.
Yeah.
I just want to say that when I first saw this film, I was like, "They already caught Jigsaw just like that." It's just a
Yeah,
second film.
well, it becomes apparent the more we go on that there is no just like that. Never. There's never a just like that. It's gonna keep going. Um, yeah.
Uh, yeah. The now we're in the room of random people. We got the girl from 7-Eleven or 7 Heaven. Uh, I forgot her
Yeah,
name.
that's what. Every time I watch this movie, I'm like, I know that girl's from something, but I never. I don't. I mean, I know what Seventh Heaven is, but I don't watch it. It had Seventh Heaven had that guy that was in Star Trek, the motion picture, and then who
Yes.
jail because he did horrible things.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, I love that we always like every time that I'm on this show, on this podcast, and we're like, we're gonna talk about Saw 2, and then 20 minutes in, we're talking about Seventh Heaven. It's every time, and it's partially my fault. That's the kind of like my brain's trajectory. It works off of hyperlinks. You click the blue words, and then you go to a
Exactly.
different page.
That's how my brain works too. But yeah, you got the girl from Seven Heaven.
Yeah.
You of course you
The,
got
the, the,
Daniel
the kid from Saw, Scream 4, as we said.
before, and I also think he looks like Timothy Chalamet.
Okay, you can think that. I don't agree.
He's kind of looks like him. And you got some other actors that we really don't know.
Oh,
Uh,
I do have a friend who has been on this podcast and may listen to this podcast.
oh,
He may be listening right now. Who would be
hi.
very mad if I did not mention that the kid that plays Daniel was on the show Jericho. So I don't know if
Oh,
anyone's ever watched Jericho. I haven't. That's my problem. I'm sorry. But if there's any Jericho fans out there, that's who this kid is.
shout out to Jericho fans and break the walls down. I'll say.
Ah, they're back to wrestling.
Yeah, I know. I see, like again, hyperlinks.
Yeah, exactly. So
Um,
chaotic.
but yeah, so they're all struggling. They're like, "What the hell? Why are we here in this room?" Uh, they're all panicking, of course. Bad group project. Bad group.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, and one of the guys, he's like, "Hey, there's a hole. Let me look into it." Bam! Got shot in the eye.
That's like they put the key in the door. Doesn't it say like there's something that says don't put that key in that door, and then they put the
Yes.
key in the door, and then the gun fire again.
Don't listen. They don't listen.
They don't listen. It's the bad group project. But again, it's one of those things where um like that dude is just over for him. Like we said last time, Detective Singh from Lost,
Yeah.
he got shot with some shotguns and his head got blown off. But in the
Oh.
grand scheme of things, it's just over.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy just got shot in the head. Like that's if you look at some of the other stuff, particularly a couple characters in this movie get messed up real bad, and for him, he's just got shot in the head. So I guess if you had to pick one,
Yeah, you gotta go to the easy way out. If you don't want to be, tortured, I think that's the one way to go.
yeah. We'll say just for prosperity, the people that are in this house, the people in the trap, their characters are Daniel, that's the kid that matters.
Yep.
Xavier, who was like the big tough
Macho
guy
guy.
who does he's macho guy. Jonas, I don't know which one that is. That might be the black guy. It's
Yeah, I think the
kind of
African American.
kind of smart.
Yeah.
Laura, which we can assume was one of the girls. Addison, which we can assume was one of the other girls. Actually, let's check.
Addison is I think the Hispanic lady.
Yeah, Laura is the Seventh Heaven girl.
Yeah.
Obi. No, he says his name is Abi. Every time I read this, I'm like, oh,
Yes.
that's Obi. Maybe it's because, Obi-Wan. I don't know. But in the movie, he specifically says his name is Abi. And I'm like, come on.
The movie came out 2005. Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith came out 2005.
That's gotta be maybe George threatened to sue.
Oh, so it'd be Abby. Okay,
And,
makes
and
sense.
then the last guy is Gus. He doesn't matter because he just got shot in the fucking head.
He got shot in the head.
But the important thing, the thing that gets everything going, why you have to get out of this house is, Jigsaw's filling it with a gas or a nerve agent, and it's
Yes.
gonna kill them within 2 hours. He's pretty lenient still on the timing, giving them
Yeah.
2 full hours.
Last movie was 6 hours. Now it's 2 hours. It's still a lot of time.
He's cutting it. He's cutting it close. He'll make it smaller.
Yeah. I believe after the eye shot, they went to a place where the antidotes was in this type of furnace.
Yeah, they make it down to the basement where there's this
Yeah.
big. It looks kind of like a like a big smoker.
Yeah. It's I believe it's the nerve gas house basement. So that's what the house is called. Nerve gas house.
Sure, nerve gas
Uh
house.
yeah, so the Obby guy, he went inside, he saw that, there's antidotes, so he'll be glad to do it. He's like, alright, I got it. When he got the first two antidotes, he's like, alright, I got it. And the third one is hanging. He grabbed it,
Actually,
yanked
there's
it.
only two in there.
Wasn't there two? I thought it was three.
I'm gonna fact check you because what you skipped over was they play the tape, right? Obviously, there's a tape in every
Yeah,
room.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They play the tape, and John on the tape reveals that Abby helped John kidnap everybody.
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh my God, Abrar, we're both stupid.
Yeah.
We listed all these people. We left one out. Amanda.
Amanda, the most important part of the
Yeah,
movie.
like literally, like the most important person in this trap, other than the kid. Um, yeah, Amanda's here. Amanda, who had the bear trap from the first movie. She's being tested again, or is she? Haha. Um,
Like I said, I'm off the rails. Because this
yeah.
movie was all over the place.
It's
Uh,
almost like we're not good at this,
I
but
have,
that
yeah.
won't stop us.
Nope, that
Um,
won't stop us.
yeah. Amanda's role as like as far as like character in the script, she's the one because she's been through a trap before. She's the
Yeah.
one that tells everyone you have to follow the fucking rules. I think that's an exact quote from her.
Yes.
And then people don't follow the rules and then they die. So yeah, so she's here. But then back to what we were talking about. They're in the basement. There's that big thing. The tape says Abby helped kidnap everybody, and then basically everyone's like, "Well, Abby, since you're a big piece of shit, why don't you crawl inside there and
Yeah.
get the two antidotes that are hanging there, one for him and one for someone else."
Gotcha.
But he doesn't make it out of there, does he, Abrar?
No, because he got cooked.
Absolutely.
He was burning. They were trying to get him out of there, but of course, the steering wheel was too hot, and he was trapped in there. He was burned alive, and I think he was trying to get out the other side, but he was just hanging
Yeah,
out.
there was kind of like a glass pane on the other side, and by the end, he smashed his head through it, and like he had like a head and like one shoulder out, but
Yeah,
he couldn't squeeze through, and then he got his little feetsies cooked right off.
he got cooked, and the antidotes
Uh
are
Also
destroyed.
cooked. Yeah,
Yeah.
too much
So
to everybody else's anger.
yeah, so everyone's of course still panicking. They're just going crazy.
To their
Meanwhile,
to their credit, they did try really hard to get him out.
yes, I
They're
agree.
they're like smashing that glass the best they can. The what did we say his name was? Jonas character. He like tried to open the thing and like burned his hand. Like only a couple characters. I think like the kid Daniel was just like off to the side, just like staring like an idiot. Like he didn't do anything. But he's a kid, so what do you expect?
Yeah.
Um, and then like some of the girls were not strong girls, so
Yeah,
they just kind of like stood in the corner and cried. And
yeah.
I don't remember Amanda giving a shit or caring or trying to help anybody, but a fair few characters did try to help get this guy out of there. It did not work though.
It did not work. They were just panicking. While meanwhile, back in Jigsaw, Donnie Wahlberg is just yelling at Jigsaw, like, "Hey, where's my son? Where's my effing son?" They're trying to figure out what's going on, because you can see they can see them live
Yeah,
from
it's on the TV.
yeah, Butterfingers. They can see what's happening, just trying to figure out what's going on. Jigsaw being a diva, he's like, he's like, I don't this. I think in this movie he's just acting like all sassy.
He's pretty sassy in this one, where where he's like Donnie Wahlberg, you gotta get me a new little cup of water with a bendy straw, or else I'm not gonna tell you a goddamn thing.
I think he's just going through that cancer. So I feel like
Yeah.
he didn't care about anything. Which is I don't want to go forward because I saw X recently, and that's all it's between 1 and 2, and that character development from his character in Saw X to Saw 2 quite different. But maybe that's the progression of the cancer.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I'll say having watched some of the ones later than this, I mean spoilers for Saw 3. The next time we see John after this one, after Saw 2, he's dying a whole heck of a lot more.
yeah.
And then for the most of the rest of the series, it's a lot of flashbacks and stuff.
Hmm.
He's never this sassy again.
No, this is the only time.
Him. This is him at his diva peak.
Yes.
He's and part of that, if we actually, it may tie in a little bit. I mean, this is definitely me reading between the lines, but it may kind of play into someone's test in this movie.
Oh yes. Let's speak about that test. That is Eric Matthews' test.
Mm.
He has a big test for him, and I think. Do you think he, in the beginning, when you trying to figure out his test, you think he will succeed or not?
Um, it's if there was a test that anyone should have passed, it was this one.
Yeah.
And if on paper, if you're like, Jigsaw's going to give you a test to choose one of these tests, I would choose this test because the test is just sit here and talk to John.
You see that's like
And
the easiest test.
I would love to sit there and talk to John
But
because
but hold on, he's being
he's
sassy.
he's he is being sassy. He's being very sassy, but even with that sass, John has that like calming voice. You know what I mean? Tobin
Yeah.
Bell has a very calming
Oh yeah,
voice.
he
He
does.
could do he could do very scary ASMR videos.
Oh, I'm into that.
I knew you would be. Um, uh,
um.
yeah, so he's just got to sit. He says, um, Donnie Wahlberg, if you just sit here and talk to me for like an hour or until the timer is up,
Yeah.
if you sit here and talk to me until the timer is up, then you will find your son safe and sound, is what he says.
Safe
Or
and sound.
safe and in a secure place.
Wow.
No,
This guy. Yeah.
the phrasing is actually very important because what he actually says is you will find your son in a safe and secure place.
Yes. Well, before we get into that, let's go back to our traps. After the furnace, the I believe it's the needle pit. Is that the next one?
Yeah, that should be the next one. Where Xavier, the big meathead guy, this trap is for him. The tape says it's for him, because he's a drug dealer, right?
I think so. Yes. Yes.
He's a drug dealer, and so the idea is like, oh, you gave all these people stuff, needles in their skin. Now you got to get needles in your skin, and it's a giant fucking pit. It's basically like a little tiny swimming pool full of filthy fucking hypodermic needles, and there's a key in there somewhere. And if you get the key, you come out and you unlock the door before the timer's up, and then there's antidotes in there. And you know what? I'm gonna give Xavier not props. Props is the wrong word, but he definitely thought outside the box on this one because everyone kind of looks at him and is like, "All right, dude, go get that key. This is your trap." And he says, "I'm not fucking getting in there." And he picks up Amanda and just completely Batista bombs her ass inside that pit of needles. And that's gnarly because you got like the shots of like her with needles like stuck in her arm. She's not wearing shoes, so she's got like needles stuck in her feet,
Damn.
and she's screaming. And she's like, after she like composes herself, she fucking like swiping these like needles across. And of course, like the like the syringes are like breaking, so like there's broken glass in there too. You can hear like that sound. And meanwhile, the dickhead Xavier's like, "Come on, bitch, do it, bitch, you got it,
Yeah,
get it, bitch." And
I think
then
everyone hated Xavier at that point, or maybe
yeah,
even before that. But I just want to say that Amanda did find the key, was it the key, right?
you found the key with just enough time to spare. The
Yeah,
only thing that would trip them up is if Xavier fumbles and drops the key like he did.
he did. He did.
He gets the key to the door, fumbles it, timer runs out, and then he has the gall to be upset. He's like, "Oh fuck, this is everyone else's fault."
Man, uh, yeah, that needle pit is not what you dream of when you
It's
think
pretty
of.
it's pretty gnarly if you're like squeamish to that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And you
I mean,
see, like I said, you see
needles.
the needles sticking out of her arm, and you're like, ooh, ooh.
Yeah,
But it is tame compared to a lot of the other stuff that Saw kind of gets known for.
yeah,
Like it doesn't even the needles don't even bother me as much as like the blade almost going into the eye from the very beginning. You know that bothers
oh,
me a lot more.
I see. I see. Well, since I rewatched this and that when I saw that needle pit scene, I was like, oh, I think I have to get my flu shot, and I'm getting it this Wednesday. Uh,
Hey, you know what? Saw saves another life.
yes, sir.
Thank you, John.
Uh, but yeah, so after the needle pit, Amanda's bleeding, not like just got stabbed everywhere. Xavier's going crazy, and then what happens next? I believe they went back to where they came from, the same room. Uh, Two of the guys, but I think Xavier killed the black guy. I
Yeah,
forgot his name.
they do the thing where they're a group of people that hate each other because they're a bunch of assholes, right? So they
Yeah,
like assault each other, and like Xavier storms off, and progressively like the poison is like hurting everyone more and more. So like they're coughing up blood. In fact, I'll go ahead and say it now because it's not much longer after this that the Seventh Heaven girl, she just like slumps over and dies.
yeah, she died through the poison.
Yeah, the poison got her.
So and besides that, before all this happened, everyone was coughing out blood,
Mm.
uh, because of the poison. But except for two people. But we'll get into that later. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
the
Well, as you were gonna say, Xavier and Jonas go back to like the first room,
Yeah,
and they kind of get in this confrontation where Jonas is telling him like, "My guy, we gotta work together," and Xavier just says, "No, fuck all that."
yeah,
And then this is gonna sound completely out of nowhere because, well, mostly because, and I just realized part of the setup from the first thing we learned, I forgot to mention, is that Jigsaw, one of his like little clues that he gave was like there's a combination to get out of this house, and the numbers are in the back of your mind, is what he says on the tape. And
yes,
then he also says oh, this one I don't remember the exact quote, but he's like, "You just to know the code, you just got to follow the rainbow," or something like that. It's 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 something about the rainbow, and it's at this point where Xavier notices that on the back of Jonas's neck there's like a little blue number or whatever,
hmm
and so he's like, "Oh," he pieced it together. He's like, "Oh, we've all got the combination on the back of our necks." And he's like, "Hey, let me see your fucking neck." And Jonas is like, "No way." And so, and this part's out of nowhere because I genuinely don't remember where he got it. But Xavier brains Jonas with a fucking spiked baseball bat.
dude.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know where you got that from.
I do not remember where he got it. I think it was just like because there's kind of like stuff all around, like hidden throughout the house. Like they pick up a flashlight that's like hanging on the wall. So I
Yeah,
think he just like picked it up at some point a while ago, and just he's been the one carrying it, and so he sticks it right into Jonas's head, and it's stuck in there. It doesn't not come out. Um and
yeah. Oh man.
then he
E-
gets the number off of his, he just reads it. But okay, here's the thing. Here's what I had to say about that.
Yeah,
Um, he needs to now Xavier, the definitive bad guy, because he's officially killed somebody.
Yes.
Um, what he needs to what he knows he needs to do is get the numbers off of everybody's necks, and then put them in the correct order. I don't believe that he is smart enough to remember all the numbers. And I do not believe he is smart enough to remember all the numbers and what colors they are.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I especially do not believe he is smart enough to know the order of the colors of the rainbow to put them in the right order. There's no way this meathead who can't even work together with anybody was going to figure that shit out. So I don't know what his plan was, I got to get the numbers. But it wasn't going to work, is my point.
Yeah, the thing is for him is he's dumb.
Yeah, yes.
He's not thinking, no one's thinking. That's why didn't he like slice the numbers off their necks?
No, we'll get to that at the very end.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Speaking of dumb, I think this one of the, because we don't really have to keep talking about what's going on with Jigsaw and the detectives, because really
Nothing's really happening.
We've kind of covered everything until they leave that location, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next part, the next trap.
Sure.
And this character, it's the character of Addison.
Yes.
She, in my mind, is definitely a front runner at this point in the series to get the dumbest person award. Because we just talked about how dumb Xavier is, because he's dumb, but at least he's making some sort of progress.
Yeah.
Addison stumbles into a room by herself. It has a trap in it. And it has the tape recording, right?
Yeah.
She takes the tape recording and like fucking throws it aside. She doesn't even listen to that shit. She sees a syringe of the cure for the poison.
Yeah.
And she just sticks her fucking hand in. But it's like the contraption is like razor blades.
Yeah,
and
it's called the razor box.
The razor box, yeah. And the way it's built is like you could put something in, but if you try to pull it out, it pulls against the razors, right?
Yeah.
So she sticks one hand in and gets stuck, just trying to reach for the fucking thing. And then her big brain play after that is to stick her hand in another box. Not to try to get the first hand out. It's just to go right in for another box. And now she's got both hands stuck in the razor boxes, and she's just gonna bleed out and die. She's stuck there unless somebody just wanders in and helps her. And of course, the only person to wander in is Xavier. He reads the number on her neck and fucking leaves, and she's out of the movie. She's gone.
Yep. Yeah.
It is the dumbest. It's like, I don't know. It's like watching like an animal walk directly into traffic. It's
like I said, like this group.
No, there's like they weren't getting out of here.
No. I did read more into it. So that razor box trap was intended for Amanda.
Yeah, well, I pieced that together as well, because Amanda's whole thing, and the reason that they said that because obviously she was tested in the first movie, she's being tested again in this movie. No one else in the room cares about that, but
No.
us as an audience, we're like, whoa, 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 she already got her test. Why is she getting tested again? Because in the first movie, she was like, Jigsaw's trap saved my life, technically. Like, all right, bitch, you killed a person. But
But she's coming back. She's going back to
you're
going.
supposed to wonder. You were like, oh, why? And it's because that she was like cutting herself because, I don't know,
Yeah,
has
it's
mental
just
hang-ups
the
with
just
ritual.
the addicting, just going back to that same
Yeah.
habit.
So she was
Uh,
like cutting her wrists, and it's Jigsaw is like, well, you're not appreciating the new life that I gave you, so back in you go. And so that's why it's very clearly a trap for Amanda, because it's all about cutting your wrists. But Amanda didn't even go in that room. She doesn't even know that trap exists.
yeah, that's kind of sad. Shout out
Um,
to Addison.
yeah, shout out. She. If we're giving out awards for dumbest person per movie, she might be it for this one.
Yeah, they're dumb, they're desperate, and they're not
You know
working
what?
together.
Let's do that. Let's hand out awards for dumbest person per movie. So
Okay,
this one, I think, and it could be debated by the end, but I think it's definitely Addison. The way she jumps in that trap and
I
doesn't even she doesn't even press play on the recorder. I mean, come on.
I agree. Addison, congrats.
I mean, granted, there's a lot of dumb people in this movie not listening to what they're being told to their faces, but Addison, I think, just come on. The fact that she got in someone else's, she got herself stuck in someone else's trap, and at one point there's a feasible way to get out, and she botched it.
Ah,
She's the Zach Wilson of this movie.
hey, whoa! Let's not
Whoa,
bring
whoa, whoa, whoa! I'm
let's
sorry. Whoa,
not,
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
let's not bring my New York Jets into this episode. But let's get back into it. So do you want to talk about the ending now? I think that's towards the end
Well,
we're at.
we're about there where the people in the house, the only people left standing are Amanda and Daniel the kid and Xavier, who's going around
Xavier.
number collecting. Jonas is dead, Laura's dead, Ashton's dead, Abby's dead. So yeah, so that in the house we're about done. What happens next is Xavier confronts Amanda and Daniel and is like, "Give me your fucking numbers."
Yeah.
But also, something that the characters have learned through a clue that was in the house is now all the people in the house know that Daniel is the son of Donnie Wahlberg, and Donnie Wahlberg is the police officer who not only arrested all these people because they're all former convicts,
Yes.
but like planted evidence on like all of them.
Yeah.
'Cause he's kind of a shithead cop.
Yeah. So Donnie Wahlberg, I know you're listening to this, but what the hell, man?
Yeah, Donnie, listen, it's not your fault. It's what the script said. I know you would never. Um, but so now Xavier Xavier's not even at the point where he's smart enough to be like, just let me see the numbers. Let me explain to you what I've been doing, and then we can go. He sees the picture of Daniel with the police officer who arrested him, and he's gone full gorilla brain, and he's just like, I'm gonna kill this fucking kid and take his number. So now Amanda and the kid run away, and Xavier chases them, and they basically find a way out through a trapdoor. Not a way out of the whole situation, but into like these weird like sewer tunnels, kind of.
Yeah.
Which Xavier chases them all the way through, and a big twist, not the big twist, but a big twist. Where do they end up, Abrar?
They end up back to the bathroom from Saw 1.
And who's in the bathroom, Abrar? A
Whee!
dead Zep.
Yes, a dead set.
He's just dead and like decaying. He's like a little. He looks like that new alien they found in Mexico.
Yes, it looks like that. Just
And
ashy.
also Adam is there too.
Adam is also ashy
Still,
too.
still,
They
still dead.
It looks like they've been there for a bit.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
But yeah, they're
Yeah.
there. So the house was basically the same place where Saw 1 was. So which is pretty.
Yeah.
We were not expecting that, but it happened,
No.
and everything's connecting.
Yeah, and it's at this point where they're in the Saw 1 bathroom. Which, here's a little fun fact, if I can take an aside. So the Saw 1 bathroom, as I mentioned in Saw 1, it's just like a shitty, dirty bathroom, whatever. That's where they filmed, and they didn't like no work was put into that bathroom other than like, oh, make it look a little gross, right?
Yeah.
Have Zep poop in the toilet.
Uh,
Um, But then that set was taken apart, just like destroyed, and then they had to completely recreate it.
Oh.
So the bathroom set in every movie going forward. Well, I'm assuming they were smart enough to keep it this time. But every time we see that bathroom now, it's been recreated, and it cost like 5 times more to make look exactly like the way it was the first time.
I bet because
Because all the detail, because they got it to look exactly the same.
they have to.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Well, you know what? I will say they didn't have to, but they chose to, and that's props to this series.
Exactly. They're consistent. I mean, you have to
Yeah.
be because they have to go. They're going back to movies, going forward to movies. They had to be consistent with it.
So it's at this point that Amanda is like points out how dumb Xavier is, and is like, "Idiot, you have a number on your neck too, and I ain't gonna tell you what it is because you're an asshole."
Yep.
And so he does the big brain play where he takes the knife. Well, at first he kind of like dumb guy, like he looks around to see if he can see the back of his neck, and of course he cannot. And then he's like, "Is there a mirror in here? It doesn't really work. It's kind of grubby. I can't see." So then he does the big brain play of taking the knife he's got and slicing off the entire back of his neck with the number on it.
While the theme song is playing, pretty
The
great.
saw music is playing, and then he's got it off, and what does he do? He sticks it in his pocket like a wet piece of bologna, and then he's like, "All right, now I'll kill you." And then they just attack him, right? Like they just what
they,
happens next? I don't.
I think they died by through them. I think he got stabbed.
Yeah, like Amanda fights him, I think.
Yeah.
Um. Oh no 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 no. Daniel, the kid, he takes the foot saw.
Right.
He grabs the foot saw as Xavier runs at him, and he clips him in the neck and slices his throat.
Yes, and then he's bleeding out, and then he died.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Yes, that is true.
and so that's kind of how that situation ends. But then going back to Donnie Wahlberg has had fucking enough with Jigsaw's nonsense, and the timer is almost up. And
Yes,
so he naturally decides to beat the shit out of Jigsaw's face with his
he
fist.
he did. First he wiped the table, make it clean, and
Yeah.
then he just started nailing him.
No, he went full Batman on this guy.
Yeah,
And then
speaking.
and
Yeah,
he's like, "You gonna tell me where my son is? You gonna take me to my son?" And then after getting bloodied up pretty bad in the face, John is like, "All right, I'll take you. Fuck, I'm sorry, I'll take you." And then they get in the car and they do some Saw crazy driving.
yeah. Throw back to the what we talked about in the last episode. They're going
Exactly.
those crazy shots of going back and forth.
Yeah.
They're not. They're not moving their heads, but they're going zooming in, zooming out, doing all that
Yeah.
stuff.
And so they get to a second location. I
Yes.
believe. Oh, so what happens is it's kind of like a little twist. There's a lot of little twists. There's always a big twist, but then there's a lot of little twists.
Yeah.
The room that uh Donnie Wahlberg has been interrogating John in this entire time is actually an elevator, and it takes him down, and all the other cops are like, "Where the fuck? Hey, wait a minute!" And then uh they finally I believe find the location of the house, right? So
He did it.
we're at this point where Donnie Wahlberg and John are going to the second location, and uh, all the cops believe they finally found out where the house is, so they're going to the location. So everyone's and this is all happening while Xavier is like chasing everyone down to the Saw One bathroom. So everyone's on the move. All the cops get to the house, and it's revealed that all the people like they're finding like the Seventh Heaven girl dead, but she's
Yeah.
not just dead; she's been dead for a while.
Yes.
And they find like all the other bodies, and they're like, "Oh, these people have also been dead for a while." And they're like, "What the fuck? This doesn't make any sense." Um,
Well,
just
because
yeah. it's because the thing that they've been watching in the Jigsaw hideout the whole time has been a recording.
Yes, a big
And
recording. I don't know
and
how long it was before. Maybe like the recording. I don't know how he did that with those old monitors.
he's a tech genius, and he's an engineering genius, and he's a
Yes,
criminal mastermind genius, and he's a puppet painting genius.
he had a lot of time in his hands. Just got to
He,
say that again.
it's a man with a lot of hobbies. But so the timer finally counts all the way down,
Yes,
and then in the little Jigsaw office that Dina Mayer is currently posted up in, a little safe opens up, a big ass safe on the floor, and it swings open, and when you know it, Daniel, the kid, is in there with a little oxygen mask because you can't breathe in a safe.
nope, you'll die.
and and that's why I emphasized that he was in a safe and secure place. Ha ha ha.
And that was the big twist. The
Yep.
recording. There was a recording of what's been happening, and at the end of the movie, you just see Jigsaw just laughing when it pans out, and that's the end of the movie.
Well, it's not quite the end of the movie because where Jigsaw has been taking Donnie Wahlberg this whole time, because Donnie thinks he's going to his son, but I believe he gets clocked over the head and dragged to the Saw 1 bathroom
Yes, sir.
by Amanda.
Amanda.
Amanda is like, I was in on it the whole fucking time.
Yes,
And
sir.
and we recreate the ending of Saw 1. He's chained in the bathroom. Amanda slams the door, says game over. Donnie Wahlberg is now the one screaming. That's the end of Saw 2.
Yes.
Pretty solid ending.
Do you think the copy of the first Saw ending to this one, you think that's okay, or is it like it's fine? Like it's does it ruin the like that mystique of the first ending?
Um no, I think it's all right.
Yeah,
Uh I mean, it's not as good as the first one. I'm talking about the ending specifically. Like
yeah,
that one is kind of legendary iconic as far as what this is, but um I think like the poetic, well, because not the whole point, but when we learn Amanda is working for Jigsaw and Jigsaw's dying, clearly what they're setting up is Amanda is gonna take over, right?
yeah.
And so her ending this one the same way he ended the first one, I think it fits in a narrative sense and kind of poetic film sense, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's like it's connecting,
yeah.
like what happened to the first one and to now. It's just that I don't know. It was still, of course,
Well,
when. Yeah, go ahead.
to see a movie copy something that it previously did better, it's always never going to be as good, right?
Yeah,
Think about in a movie I like, Spider-Man No Way Home,
yeah,
when Green Goblin says I'm something of a scientist myself,
yeah,
and we in the audience are like, that's he said that before, I know that.
yeah,
Yeah, it's the same thing.
yeah.
It's like, oh, it's the bathroom, I know that. But that's the Zepp toilet, I've seen it before.
Oh gosh, Snickers doodle.
Oh man.
But yeah, Don at the end of the movie, Donnie Wahlberg or Eric Matthews from Boy Meets World
Oh,
is
yep.
in the bathroom, and that's how they ended it.
Yeah, pretty solid ending.
And
Um,
again, you want to know what happens next?
yeah, exactly, because the music's going this entire time that I've been bumbling through all these storylines converging at one point. The main Saw theme is going, and it's good, man. Uh,
What would you give it out of 5 through Letterboxd?
out of 5 for me, this one's a 3.5.
3.5. Okay,
Yeah,
this was
which
a
I don't know how other people like tend to view star ratings, because I always feel like when I say a movie's a 3.5, that seems really low. But um, 3.5 out of 5. That's 70%, which is a C. That's a passing grade.
It is.
So, um, I think like as a fun Halloween time horror movie, this one's a pass. This one's a good one.
It's a good
Um,
one with dumb characters, but
oh, lots of dumb. Well, that's yes. There's lots of dumb fucking idiots. You're definitely gonna be. I think a good way to watch the Saw movies during Halloween time is you get a bunch of people together in a room and you put them on and you all yell like how dumb the characters are. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Um, so it's there are characters later in the series that are like aggravatingly dumb. So this one not that bad.
yeah, it's not bad. On my letterbox, initially I gave it a 4 out of 5, but now
Yeah.
not since I rewatched it, I also agree with you. It's like about like a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Still good. Still passing like I say.
Still passing. Um, it's it's a movie where, yeah, you agree. You watch with your friends. I think that's most of the Saw movies. At least you watch with your friends.
Yeah. Definitely the more interesting part of this movie is the Donnie Wahlberg stuff.
Yes.
Like it's more interesting than the traps even. Um
You
the
think?
traps in this
Yeah.
one the traps in this one are a bit weak compared to how creative they will get later.
Yes. I would say it's more. I would say a little gruesome than the first one, because the first one was not gruesome at all.
It is. The most gruesome part of the first one is Gordon sawing through his foot. That's the
Yeah,
most
that's it.
gruesome part. Everything else, there's a lot of implied gore, like the
Mm-hmm.
barbed wire stuff and the editing, and you don't even really see Amanda stab into that guy's stomach in the first one that much.
No, you just see him taking out the guts, but that's you
Yeah.
don't see him stabbing and stuff.
Um
Um,
yeah, this one with the needles, the needle pit and then the thing on the eye and then I
the
mean
razor box.
the razor box is a bit on the gnarly side. It doesn't like make me cringe away from the TV when I watch it, but it's just like, ooh, yeah, that's not good. Um,
Yeah.
and then obviously watching Abby burn to death.
Oh
that's a
man.
that's a that's a different kind of gnarly.
Yeah. I do not. Okay, which trap do you do not want to be in? If you have to pick. Oh, if you have to pick, which trap you have to be in?
If I have to pick, I'm picking talking to John for an hour.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's all too, guys.
yeah.
Any thoughts of the film?
If you watched Saw 1, well, first of all, I don't remember if I said this in the last episode, but Saw 1 is if you're a horror movie fan and you haven't seen Saw for some reason, Saw 1 is a recommendation from me. And if you like Saw 1, go ahead and watch Saw 2 as well. It's pretty all right.
Yeah, that's all right. Do not watch Saw 10 through Saw 1. You'd be very confused.
Do not watch Saw 1 and then Saw 10 and then Saw 2.
Yeah, don't do that. I mean, you could
Yeah.
do that, but just watch it when it was released. That's how I watch movies.
Also, for the record, don't watch Saw 6 and then Saw 3 and 4 and then Saw 7 and then Saw 1 and 2. Don't do that.
Don't do that at all.
Don't do it in that order.
Do you um do you read spoilers then watch the movie?
No, no way.
I know one person who does that, and I think they're crazy.
What?
Yeah, they
What
since well, at least for a scary film, they said, I don't want to be scared, so let me read the spoilers and then I'll watch it.
that's okay, that's an interesting strategy. Well, okay, I can't say objectively that any way to watch a movie is wrong because if you're watching a movie and you're having fun, then you did it right. But for my personal enjoyment, no, I don't want to know what's happening. There's only one exception to that rule, and if like a film is historical, like
Yeah,
Oppenheimer came out this year.
sure,
If
sure.
if you want to read more about Oppenheimer, the man, before you see the movie, that's something.
Yeah,
And Like if you're watching a biopic of John F. Kennedy, and you don't know how that story ends, that might be quite a
Ooh,
twist. But
it's that's a big twist. Uh,
yeah. So, but no, I would not advise, especially a movie series like Saw, where a lot of the excitement and want to watch more comes from the third act twists.
yeah,
I would not advise knowing all those twists going in, because then
yeah,
you're gonna watch this whole movie and realize that Amanda's not hacking up blood or not getting into traps. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah. Amanda and Daniel were not coughing up blood, and you know that because they're not poisoned, and they're Daniel was,
Yeah.
yeah. I noticed that he doesn't do it to kids.
Yeah. Well, what? You're gonna put a 4-year-old in a saw trap?
Oh, I don't want to spoil for Saw
What?
10.
Oh my god, are
Anyways,
you serious? Wait a minute.
let's not go there. But that's the end of Saw 2. Next episode we're gonna talk about Saw 3, of course. In
Of
this
course.
month of spooky October.
Saw
Uh,
3, that movie has one of the worst protagonists in any of the Saw movies.
oh, really? I guess when I rewatch it, I'll know.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's a bad guy,
Uh-huh.
or I'm not even saying he's a bad actor, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying that that dude, like, in the situation of being in the traps, he fucking sucks.
All
He ain't getting nothing done, that guy.
right.
But
Well,
I'm excited to talk about that next time after you've rewatched it.
I'll rewatch it. When for the next episode, that'll be Saw 3. Well, Skyler, where can they find you in the socials?
Um,
I ask this every time. You don't have to give me an answer.
well, I'm running out of funny things to say. I am running out of ways to not answer. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Uh,
Don't. I said I have a Twitter. I said don't follow me. Don't do it.
I'll get out of you some way. But of course, you can follow this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Follow me on Twitter or Instagram at BrownBoyWonders. You can add me on PlayStation at the Green Knight 3 if you want.
Oh damn! I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I already did
Oh,
that.
you did.
Peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Saw 2, and let's end it with let's do you want to play a game? All right, on three.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Abby is not a real name.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Bing bang.